Snow changes distance. It makes things feel farther away. And sometimes, it makes things feel much closer than they should be. This recording was recovered after a blizzard that caused the final train service to shut down early that evening. He was still in school back then. Every weekday he took the train. Train in the morning, train in the afternoon. It sounded exhausting, but he didn't mind it. Most of his friends lived along the same line. The commute became routine, sometimes even enjoyable. He was a runner. Track in the spring, cross country in the fall. During the off-season, practice ended early. The trains were quiet, just a few students. During the season, practice ran late. By the time he boarded, the train was packed. Commuters, strangers. On most nights, he wasn't alone. Others got off at the same stops. That night was different. The snowstorm started the moment the train left the station. Not snow, a blizzard. It went from nothing to complete whiteout in minutes. While they were still moving, an announcement came over the speakers. This was the last train running on that line. No others would follow. The snow kept getting worse. They started wondering if the train would even make it. And even if it did, there was no chance anyone could pick them up. The roads were already a mess. People got off one stop at a time. Eventually, it was just him. The doors opened. He stepped onto the platform. It was empty. Just him. And the storm. Visibility was strange. It was dark, but the snow reflected the light. Everything was white. The station looked abandoned. Usually, there were cars, people, movement. That night, there was nothing. He started walking. There was no point waiting. Crossing the highway was easier than expected. No cars, no plows, nothing. He stopped for a moment, just to look. It felt unreal, beautiful, wrong. After the highway came the woods. Following the road would have taken longer. The wind was brutal, so he cut through the trees. He didn't know how long he'd been walking. His head was down, watching his feet. Then he looked up and froze. About 30 yards ahead, someone was standing there. A man, facing him directly, as if he already knew which path he would take. At first, his brain couldn't process it. The man wasn't dressed for the weather. Short sleeves, shorts, in the middle of a blizzard. And he was smiling. Not a friendly smile, a twisted one. He didn't move. Neither did the man. For a moment, they just stared at each other. His mind searched for an explanation. None came. In one abrupt motion, the man screamed and charged. He ran back the way he came, screaming for help, even though he knew no one was there. The snow slowed him down, but he could hear footsteps closing the distance. The chase felt endless. Seconds stretched, minutes blurred. Finally, he burst out of the woods, hit the road. Only then did he turn around. The man was gone. That didn't make it better. He walked the rest of the way home. All he could think about were his footprints, They were the only ones in the snow. If the man wanted to follow, it would have been easy. When he got home, his parents were relieved, until he told them what happened. One of them wanted to go look. The other stopped him. They called the police. Hours passed. Nothing happened. Eventually, they went to sleep. He stayed awake. The man's smile wouldn't leave his head. Neither would the scream. It didn't sound human. Later that night, a branch tapped his window. He sat up, went to check, pulled the curtain back, and dropped to the floor. The man was there, right outside the window. This time, he could see him clearly. His skin was purple, frozen, bald, a patchy gray beard. The smile was still there. Someone rushed into the room. They saw him too. Just for a second. Then the man ran into the storm. The police arrived late. Too late. They said they couldn't go into the woods. Too dangerous. They left. Nothing came of it. He never saw the man again. For weeks, he was afraid to be in his own home. He still doesn't know how to explain it. And he doesn't think he wants to. Snow changes how long a moment can last. It stretches seconds. It makes waiting feel reasonable. And sometimes, it makes doing nothing feel like the safest decision. This recording was recovered after an overnight snowstorm that caused widespread delays in emergency response services. He had been home since early evening. The storm arrived sooner than expected. Snow came down thick and steady. Wind pressed against the windows hard enough to be noticed. By nightfall, the street outside was completely still. No cars passed. No voices carried. Just snow. He didn't expect anyone. The weather had made that clear. Deliveries had stopped. Roads were closing. Anyone with sense was already home. That's why the sound mattered. A knock. Not sharp, not desperate, measured, intentional. He stayed where he was, listened, counted the seconds. The knock came again. Same spacing, same pressure, as if whoever was outside was not in a hurry. He checked the time. It was later than he thought. Later than most people would risk being outdoors. He stood, didn't rush, walked toward the door. He stopped a few feet away, didn't touch the handle, didn't unlock anything. He waited. Nothing happened. Then, a voice, muted by the door, calm, polite. Someone asking if anyone was home. Every instinct said to answer, to acknowledge, to do something. He didn't. The voice spoke again, still calm, still even. It thanked him for listening. That wasn't right. No one should know they were being listened to. Not through a closed door. He moved closer to the peephole. Looked. The porch light was on. Snow fell through the beam. But there was no shape, no outline, no movement. The voice said his lights were on, mentioned the hallway, the sound of the heating system, the pause between footsteps. Details, small ones, things noticed only from inside. He stepped back. The voice continued, not louder, not closer, just present. It asked to be let in, not urgently, patiently. The knock resumed. Same rhythm. No frustration, no change, as if time meant nothing to it. He said he was calling for help. Police, emergency services. There was silence, longer than before. Then the voice returned. It told him that help was delayed, that the storm had taken priority, that waiting was the correct choice. The lights flickered, once, then again. The house shifted, settled. Snow continued to fall. The voice stopped. The knocking stopped. Everything stopped. He waited. 10 minutes. Then more. He didn't sleep. Didn't sit. Didn't move far from the door. Light eventually filled the windows. The storm passed. Silence remained. He opened the door. The porch was untouched. No footprints leading up. No footprints leading away. Only snow, exactly as it had been the night before. The recordings end here. No further material was recovered. In all 3 cases, official searches reported no unusual findings. No additional witnesses came forward. Each subject returned to the location. Nothing was found. The snowfall covered all remaining traces. What followed could not be archived. This case remains open.